Bonjour tout le monde. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being with us, and I'll jump right into it. Just two quick things today. The first is with respect to patent waivers, and I guess I should apologize in advance for any background noise. There's some emergency drilling happening, but we're in the midst of COVID here, so we'll do what we can. With respect to the recently announced decision by the Biden administration to support patent waivers on COVID vaccines in order to dramatically boost global supply and to ensure that low income and poor countries have quicker, better access to COVID vaccines. First, to say very clearly that the Greens Party is very supportive of that. We've been very supportive for quite some time. And we continue to see this as an important step in ensuring that people around the world have access, fair and equitable access to vaccination as quickly as possible. We know that this is incredibly important because until we have defeated COVID around the world, no one is safe, including people in Canada. And that given the failure of COVAX to function as planned at this point, given that it is the only supply currently available to many low-income and middle-income countries, and given that the expectation at this point, given the amount of vaccines that have been delivered, is that many low-income and middle-income countries will not have adequate access to vaccines until 2022 or 2023. We are very supportive. And so we understand that the Prime Minister remains hesitant about supporting patent waivers, and we encourage him to revisit that decision and to join the 90 plus countries and the United States in supporting those waivers in the context of World Trade Organization negotiations. Alors, on veut absolument voir notre gouvernement joindre les 90 pays et aussi le gouvernement aux États-Unis, le président des États-Unis qui soutient une ouverture des vaccins, des procès pour créer les vaccins à les pays de faible revenu et de moyen revenu, exactement parce qu'on sait que ça c'est nécessaire dans le contexte d'un système COVAX qui ne fonctionne pas dans la manière où il était supposé de fonctionner. On sait que beaucoup de pays, si on continue sur le même chemin, vont attendre au moins une année, peut-être même 2 années pour recevoir des quantités suffisantes des vaccins, des vaccins. Et on sait que si le COVID n'est pas éliminé partout au monde, que les Canadiens et Canadiennes restent en danger, que le monde reste en danger. Alors, on espère que le Premier ministre va finalement décider de joindre avec les États-Unis pour assurer qu'il y a un accès efficace et rapide aux vaccins pour ces pays. The next topic I wanted to discuss was the Enbridge Line 5 and the potential upcoming closure of Enbridge Line 5. And first, I wanted to say that we respect and support the decision of Governor Whitmer in Michigan to close Line 5. We defer to the extensive analysis and review that she has done of the pipeline, of the strength of the pipeline, of the risk of an oil spill, and the consequences that would come from an oil spill. We know that back in 2010, that Enbridge Line 6B, which is part of the same lakehead system as Line 5, burst, and that it released more than 3 million liters of diluted bitumen into the Kalamazoo River and the Talmadge Creek. This was the biggest oil spill in US history, and clearly people in Michigan are extremely sensitive to the danger and the consequences of an oil spill. Since that time, there have been many warnings by scientists and conservationists and First Nations that Enbridge Line 5 also was at risk of spilling and that it would be a terrible disaster. one that could certainly reach our shores in Canada, including Ontario's Manitoulin Island and the Bruce Peninsula. And so, given that there is this risk, there's the risk of a ship's anchor striking a pipe. There's the risk of corrosion. We know that the pipeline is bent in places, and we know that a leak, any potential leak, could be as or more devastating than the Kalamazoo River spill, and could cost more than $1 billion to clean up. We understand and respect Governor Whitmer's decision to shut down that pipeline. And so in terms of the consequences, we know we're very sensitive to the fact that there are many, that a great deal of the crude oil that ends up in our refineries here originates through this pipeline. And so the question, of course, is always, are there alternatives? Are there reasonable alternatives? And to that, we say it seems that there clearly are. Over the last number of days, as the deadline has approached, we have heard from Suncor, for instance, that they are developing contingency plans. We've heard from Pearson Airport that they are, in fact, not completely dependent upon Line 5 and have diversified the sources of their fuel. Our ambassador to the United States has already said that a potential shutdown, while serious, is not a threat to our energy security. We also know that groups like the Environmental Defense Fund and other environmental groups and groups that have been commissioned by the governor of Michigan have done studies into the available capacity and flexibility to meet energy demand through the existing North American energy pipeline system that is operated through the Great Lakes, and that there is the possibility that there is spare capacity there that could serve Canadian refineries downstream. So given all of that, what should Canada be doing at this moment? What we believe Canada should first be doing is respecting Governor Whitmer's decision, which certainly wasn't taken lightly, which was a campaign promise, which is one that has taken into account their own energy security and the jobs that are connected to that pipeline. We also call upon the government, as it considers how to respond, to do the basic things that still have not been done here. We should be conducting our own analysis in order to determine what the potential impact of the shutdown of Line 5 will be. We should also be preparing our own energy security plan. We know that this was one of the first things that Governor Whitmer undertook to do, and the report was released in March. The report went through all of the things that we should be considering at this time, including how to assist vulnerable families, how to prevent price gouging, how to monitor and address disruptions. And so we need our own energy security plan as well. This is a real wake-up call for us. Whatever side of this issue one might be on, having such a large percentage of Canada's crude oil traveling through an aging system that is at risk of being shut down by the governor of another country is really not a situation that Canada should be in or would want to be in. We also call upon the government, and would expect the government to ensure that whatever it does respects treaty rights and Indigenous sovereignty. We heard very clearly from the Anishinaabe Nation just yesterday about their support for Governor Whitmer's decision and their concerns about the infringements on their treaty rights that the ongoing use of the pipeline would provoke, and also their concerns about Ottawa not respecting those rights in its conversations with the United States about the future of Line 5. And so it would certainly be a mistake for the government to invoke the 1977 Transit Pipeline Treaty and also to prefer that treaty over the treaties that it has signed many years ago with Indigenous First Nations, and that would clearly be in conflict with the continuation of Line 5. Alors, maintenant, c'est le moment pour le gouvernement, en ce qui concerne la ligne 5, de respecter la décision du gouverneur du Michigan. C'était une décision prise avec beaucoup de recherche, beaucoup de consultations et en reconnaissance de l'impact sur les peuples ici au Canada et au Michigan aussi. C'est le moment aussi de faire une analyse propre de l'impact de la fermeture de ligne 5, comme le gouverneur Michigan a fait déjà. C'est aussi le moment de créer notre propre plan de sécurité énergétique parce que nous sommes dans une situation vraiment très fragile, très précaire. Si entre 40 et 50% de notre accès est par la ligne 5 pour créer notre approvisionnement de gaz. C'est vraiment une situation très précaire et très dangereuse qui doit être réglée le plus tôt possible. On soutient le gouverneur Whitmer dans sa décision de fermer ligne 5, exactement parce qu'on sait que les conséquences d'une rupture de marée noire pour la région des Grands Lacs seraient vraiment, vraiment terribles pour les peuples autochtones qui continuent à pêcher dans ces lacs, pour le tourisme, pour toutes les personnes qui ont des emplois reliés à le tourisme. On sait aussi que le numéro d'emplois liés aux autres secteurs sont beaucoup plus que les emplois liés à la continuation de la ligne 5. Alors, on demande maintenant au gouvernement de considérer tous ces facteurs, toutes ces conséquences et préparer pour une future où la ligne 5 sera fermée. On sait qu'il y a plus d'emplois dans le secteur vert qui paye beaucoup plus. Il y avait même une étude indépendante préparée par une association à Michigan qui a confirmé qu'il y aura peut-être 20 fois plus d'emplois créés par le secteur vert et par le décommissionner la ligne que les emplois qui existent maintenant qui sont directement liés aux lignes. On sait aussi que c'est possible de protéger nos emplois ici au Canada et de rediriger une partie de l'approvisionnement qui passe par la ligne 5 à des autres oléoducs qui existent dans nos grands lacs. Alors, pour toutes ces raisons, on soutient la fermeture de ligne 5. On veut le faire d'une manière qui ne mette pas les personnes au risque ni ici, ni aux États-Unis, ni leurs emplois non plus. C'est possible à le faire et c'est le moment de tourner vers ces discussions et de ne pas gaspiller notre capital diplomatique sur essayer de garder ouvert une ligne quand le gouverneur est très clair qu'elle veut le fermer. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Madam Paul. Merci, Madame Paul. This concludes today's press conference. Ceci conclut la conférence de presse d'aujourd'hui. Merci à tout le monde pour nous rejoindre. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.